Hello world, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the energy of your next week. So this is the next 5 to 7 days from whenever you discover this video. These are also general messages, so take what resonates, and you get to pick your pile. So you get to use your intuition to pick the pile number or object, which we'll be putting on here in a moment, that resonates with you or, draws you in. And then I use my intuition to read the cards for you. If you get into a reading and you're like, this is just not me, you are welcome to watch a different one. You can also, if you can't choose between the two of them, you can watch both. Sometimes it's just like one message in there for you. And I have a ton of these weekly readings. So if you look at this and you're like, nah, none of those, I don't really like any of those things, I have a ton of weekly readings, like I said, and they're timeless. So you can, they are appropriate for whenever you discover them and whenever you're drawn to watch. So now I'm going to place objects. For object number 1, we have this jack-o'-lantern cookie. For number 2, we have a mummy cookie. And for number 3, we have Frankenstein's monster cookie. So take a moment. If you want to come with me and take some deep breaths, I'm going to close my eyes and take a deep breath in and release. Let go of any tension. Just be here in the moment. Take a couple deep breaths. It's really important to breathe. I think I say this all the time. I say this outside of my channel too. It's so important to take deep breaths. It helps to lower our anxiety, to really be present in the moment, and it energizes us. And one thing that I find really interesting is prey animals breathe shallow. So if you can imagine like a mouse, they're always very anxious and they're, ready to see danger coming from them at any point. But you're not a prey animal. You're on the top of the food chain. So let's bring in that confidence. Let's be present, and let's go on from here to discover our next week. So go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever you were drawn towards, number, cards, or cookie, that is your number. I have the timestamps down in the description, and I will see you at your reading. Thank you. Hello, group 1. If you picked the pumpkin cookie or the number 1, or you liked the way the cards were stacked, you are in the right place. So I'm actually filming this before I film my intro because we are, or I am, shuffling on camera for you today. So this is the energy for your next 5 to 7 days. Look in a book. Whatever you question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will bring you insight you seek. So, we are in a time of information and almost information overload. The one thing, I'm not going to say that you're only going to find answers in books, but the one thing that sets books apart from others, other than there are print-on-demand books from Amazon, so there's more books out there than ever. But there is some sort of a validation process with books versus other sources of things that come in. This can also be a reminder for you to, read a book. I myself have a whole collection of books at the corner of my room that I should be reading or that I want to read. So I'm seeing that she's really finding joy in reading this this week. And you might want to put your nose into a book, find a good book, go off to a bookstore. You don't know the kinds of lovely things that you can find there for yourself. But it does really feel like this is kind of almost an information finding week, but finding some information with joy and fun. I also love that the mushrooms are here, mushrooms, psychedelics, but information that talks about mushrooms, you bringing us to another level of consciousness. That doesn't mean that I'm endorsing you taking psychedelics. It's a graphical representation. So I'm not endorsing you taking psychedelics unless that you choose your own path. Use your own discernment there. I personally will not be doing that, group 1. Let's see what else we have coming out. Interesting that we have the Knight of Swords reversed. Like her whole dress is a book here. Let's see. We've got 8 of Cups reversed. I'm going to pull 2 more cards out of this deck. Hangman upright, but looks reversed to make us of the card that it is. And 1 more card to get a fuller picture. Ooh, Death reversed. Okay, very interesting. So, I just want to look and see what I'm seeing here. Hangman kind of, when we've got the Knight of Swords in reverse and we've got the Hangman upright. Knight of Swords is somebody who gets some information and they run off with it. You can see here she's like floating on a feather. She's going on this journey and she has like it could be a paintbrush, it could be a pen in her hand, but she's got some information and she is off to the races. The problem with the Knight of Swords is, and I love that we have the Look in a Book and Hangman reversed, is she's sometimes like really just almost overly ready to go. I'm like getting an image of like, you know how when you mention that you might go for a walk, you know, some point in the future, and then your dog is just like, yeah, let's go right now, let's go. That's kind of like, she is totally ready, she's totally down to get going. But just like your dog doesn't have direction. Dogs get lost all the time. They don't know where they're going. They're kind of relying on you. So she's relying on something for that focal point, for that end point. And that's why I feel like she's in reverse here, and especially with the Hangman is kind of like, hey, something may have come in here for you, like some information, but it's kind of like a hit pause this week. You need to find out some more information about that thing. You know, if this is in relation to information that you found out about a friend, or from a friend, or, you know, about somebody that you love, don't fly off the handle. Like, sit on it for a second, think about it. Seek a higher source of information. You know, it might be this book that you're searching for, might be the person themselves. Like, don't trust rumors. This is not the week to trust rumors. I also love that the 8 of Cups is reversed here. 8 of Cups talks about walking away and moving on. That's kind of why I'm mentioning, see, we have the pairs here of the butterflies, the dragon, you know, they're all paired and she's not. So she's like, the woman in the ladybug dress is like, no, I'm out of here, I'm walking away. But I think like any information or any thoughts that you come in, like your first reaction may be, I'm done with this, I'm not going to deal with it, I'm out of here. But I think that it really has the potential of, you need to vet your information. The information coming in really has the potential of being incorrect, or maybe it's just right for right now, and things are going to shift and change. I said change and we have Death in reverse. Death talks about change, but we've got the Hangman and Death in reverse. So I almost feel like you don't want to walk away too soon. You don't want to walk away from this situation. That whatever it is that has you feeling like really frustrated or upset, or, you know, enough to walk away, sit with it. Feel the feels, sit with the feelings, dig in deeper as to why you're feeling this way. Don't make changes on a whim, is basically what it's kind of saying this week. You know, this book might be an escape. This book might be just digging in and finding more information. When I'm talking about this overall energy of the week of looking in a book. you know, change can be beautiful, but also, I mean, both of these just say kind of like, hang on, let's hear this out. Let's feel it out. Let's figure out where this anger is coming from. Because even if the information is true, your reaction to it may not be warranted as well. And I feel like the knee-jerk reaction here is just going to be like, oh, I'm out of it. Interesting. Nothing will come of this situation. Void of course, moon. And I don't read this as like, not necessarily that you're wasting your time, but it's more of whatever it is that's stirring things up for you. Like nothing's gonna come of it. I feel like it's more of a kind of like, you know, both the Eight of Cups and the Hangman reverse talk about sitting here for a second and maybe investigating some things. Because I think it's going to be more of a revelation about yourself than whatever rumor it is that you hear about someone else or your job, that kind of thing. Right now is not the time to walk away. It's the time to sit here and see what other information comes in. We also have these other little birds here, that there's more to the story. There's a bigger perspective. And ultimately, you may just be getting upset to get upset. Let's see if I can get one more card here. I really am shuffling here. One more card for our group one. Group one. Woo! Show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius. Very interesting. You know, I'm just looking at the Aquarius imagery right here of like her just being, you know, she's just doing what she's doing. She's just open. I think part of you know, we have this zipper coming down here that she's kind of attached to with the Hanged Man. I think this is going to pull back a layer for you. This is going to reveal something for you. This is a time to really be in tune with yourself, to trust your feelings, to trust your intuition. I feel like the information that's coming in, like whatever it is kind of shocking. And again, it may or may not be true, but I don't think it's as bad as you initially think that it is. For some of you, it's just going to be flat out false, and you don't want to disrupt your situation, disrupt whatever, like your job or your relationships over something that is just a complete overreaction. For others of you, it could be true, but it's not like as bad as you think. Like everybody has their own perspective, and I don't think that it's something that is as personal to you as initially you feel that it is. This full moon in Aquarius is, you know, it's time for you to just kind of detach. Like you might be like too invested in this situation, and that's why you're reacting like pretty emotionally. I'm bringing in emotions here because we do have the Eight of Cups reversed, and you know, to walk away from a situation as your initial reaction would suggest with the Knight of Wands, it is kind of just like almost a jolt to your feelings. And you probably weren't even expecting it, considering, you know, that you're just considering the other cards. Because walking away, sometimes we think about this a lot, like, and we're ready to. This almost feels like such a knee-jerk reaction with the Knight of Swords, like just really kind of like a card that's super ready to react. And then the Eight of Cups, and when we've got the Void Course Moon, is like, hold on, chill out, everything's gonna be fine. We're just gonna let it unfold. You might need to step back a little bit. Aquarius are very independent. So you might want to just question things. You want to question your place in this relationship, your place in this, if it's a job situation, your place in this job. but do that from your current position. Well, current position, but different perspective. So just you're kind of like anchored here almost in this hangman reversed, but you're looking at the world in a different way. And this information that comes in might inspire that. It might like inject that new look. And the death card reversed here is like, now is not really the time to change. It's time to just let's write it out. Let's see how it works out. Let's get this other information. You might have been like maybe too emotionally invested in something. And you're going to discover that with this hangman, this situation where you're just kind of like sitting here for a second. So definitely full moon in Aquarius is kind of like, okay, I'm gonna pull back a little bit and detach. That's okay. Walking fully away, that might be a little bit too much. It's important to let things unfold and see what happens. Void, of course, moon is kind of like, you know what? Just kind of like the more things change, the more things stay the same. It's really not going to be as big of a deal as you initially think that it is. It's going to be something like one of my favorite pieces of advice is doing nothing is often underrated. Meaning, you know, you can just sit back and relax, read a book, and figure out how the week unfolds. So I know that's not like, whoo, you know, if you go do this, you go do this, you go do this, it's going to be fine. This is more of like, hey, if you don't do anything and you kind of just dip into your own feelings and your own emotions and yourself, you're going to be fine. Just go and read a good book, discover more things about yourself. This can also talk about too, like it can be like an agent for change. Like I'm not saying that change is like not going to happen for you at all, but maybe down the road, like right now is not the time to make that change. You probably need to discover more. This can set you on that path to ultimate change. So if that's been something that you've been looking for, this isn't saying like that's not going to happen, but it's saying that you need to really think about it and think about where you want to be and then go and discover those more things. You aren't the you don't have as much information about it as you need or want or should have. So that's what I have for you, group one. It looks like a very, you know, it could be just a really chill week. It should be a chill week for you, honestly. I feel like though initially you're not going to think that. Initially you're going to be like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Take a deep breath, calm it down. And then like we discussed with the rest of these cards, don't go with your knee-jerk reaction. Look at it from a new perspective. Find out some more information. So that's what I have for you, group one. And I hope you have a fantastic week. And I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group two. If you picked the mommy cookie or the number 2, you were in the right spot. I don't have cards out right now. And you saw a pile because I'm shooting these before I'm shooting the intro. So I'm going to get a card here for you, group 2, for the energy of your next week. We're going to shuffle on camera. Let's see what comes out. Group 2, Mummy Cookie energy for next week. Life energy. The happy fairy of sunshine brings lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and to reveal anything in the shadow that needs to be healed. So this is a couple things. First of all, you know, we really have like this tendency to worry about other people, right? I'm going to shine my light on them, or I'm going to shine my light on this situation, or I'm going to shine my light on that. But sometimes that means that we're neglecting ourselves. So first bit of homework with Shine Your Light, I giggle because homework, is to kind of remember that you yourself have a shadow side. You have feelings and depth, and you know, that's kind of like the side of your brain or consciousness. I'm not exactly sure how. I'm thinking of Carl Jung as I'm saying this, and I'm not exactly sure how he defines it, but it's almost like the undefinable space that your personality or you, where that exists. And sometimes if you've ever had, like, you're going through social media and something just immediately upsets you, you know, trigger. There's some sort of trigger behind something. Sometimes we know why. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're just really angry about something. This is where you need to just stop for a moment and question why you were angry about something. Sometimes it's because of jealousy. Sometimes, and in which case, why are you getting all angry about something? You know, anger isn't necessarily the best. It's not the best feeling, although a lot of people like to seem like they like it. But it is really productive in a sense that it is a guide for you to know where you need to go next. And that is when you have that feeling of anger about something and you stop yourself, because anger, building into anger, just building into anger, like that's just exhausting and that's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt you mentally. That's going to hurt you. It'll end up manifesting physically. But when you stop yourself and ask, why am I angry about this? That's shining a light on your shadow. That's shining a light on feelings, and that's helping direct you in a direction, in a space of what you can do. You know, a year ago, one of my friends, I think it was more than a year ago, she was just very angry about her work situation. And instead of just being angry and sad about her work situation and never changing anything, she opened up her own business. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, you discover that shadow. Like, she just did not align with the person that she worked for. I don't think she ever did. I don't think so. That's why I'm not saying like she didn't align with him anymore. I don't think she ever really aligned with him. It just became to a point where it was upsetting for her to be there, but there was also, it helped her then work through a fear because, you know, it was a really good job and it was kind of a comfy job and they loved her because she did a great job. But then she realized she could do a great job for herself as well. And now for a year, has her own business and she's awesome. She's just blossomed. It's been amazing. But that is an example of, you know, shining that light into the shadows. And because she did that, she has now touched so many other people and helped them. But see, she helped herself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, group 2, what else do we have? Other messages. I'm going to take both of these. They both wanted to come out. Okay, Lovers reversed, 3 of Swords reversed, 9 of Wands reversed. Okay, Knight of Cups reversed. Interesting. Okay, so first of all, when I read tarot, I read reversals, obviously. But I do not read a full reversal spread like this. But it does tell me something about the cards. It either tells me that there's kind of like a delay. It really makes sense though when we're talking about the shadow, like this is something kind of hidden underneath that is kind of like bubbling up to the surface and needs to be looked at. Very interesting. Okay. And we've got the 9 of Cups here and the 9 of Wands and the 3 of Swords and the Lovers. It speaks a lot about love. It speaks a lot about heartbreak. it doesn't have to be specifically love, although, you know, I think for most of you it is. For some of you, it might be like a heartbreak in another way. Somebody let you down, like you don't meet your heroes kind of thing. You just thought something was going to be one way and it just wasn't. It ended up with you alone. Now, the good thing about this is the first thing is you kind of, you know, we've got swords, wands, and cups, very emotional cards, because even this 9 of wands and the 3 of swords are like very emotional. They've got like emotional undertones, and then cups is the suit of emotions. What I can say here is like facing it and working through it. I kind of like feel like they all come into like her. She's like, oh, like coming out of it. I feel like that is like when I was just talking about the shadow self, the why something hurts you, why something upsets you, like asking that question, asking why, and doing that self-discovery to move you through this. The one thing that I do like is 3 of swords is kind of like that first, oh my gosh, pain. I feel like because all these cards were reversed, it's something that's, like I said, bubbling under the surface. And once you start asking how you're reacting about something, this is what's going to be revealed. I feel like this might be from a situation you thought you moved past. The funny thing about those, though, is they keep bubbling up. And don't feel bad about it either. Like if this was a relationship that you had in high school, for instance, and you're like, oh my gosh, I should totally be over this. I mean, people talk about having like past life regressions where they're not over stuff. Like things have just been buried. The other thing is, that's why the Lovers is here. I love the Lovers. The Lovers is kind of more to me, reads about self-discovery and discovering things. And I love the Lovers is kind of like when I was talking about yourself and your shadow self, like loving your full self. I'm going back, I'm dipping more into the Carl Jung, who was a psychologist, psychiatrist. He worked at the same era, around the same era as Freud. So this is like, I'm bringing a lot of psychology into this, but this is like loving yourself fully, and really healing these old wounds that you kind of thought you were over, but you really kind of just pushed down. The 3 of swords is jealousy, kind of. I'm seeing that the way it's manifesting kind of like in jealousy. When you see that your friend is in a happy relationship, or you see that your ex that for some reason you decide to stalk online looks happy. First of all, you don't know that. Oh, okay, where were we? Okay. I was saying that the 3 of swords kind of feels like it's more of the manifestation of this deep hurt. And it doesn't necessarily need to be about love. However, like, because we've got the Knight of Cups, the Lovers, and the 3 of Swords, it makes it feel like it is, but certainly like a deep hurt, something that hurts you. It could be, you know, your friend just got a new job and you don't react very nicely about that. It could be, you know, that you heard that the person that you dated in high school just got married or had another kid, or even one of your friends or family members getting married and like, when am I going to get married? I mean, that all comes down to you. It comes down to your shadow self. It comes down to something in your shadow that you need to really discover and unpack and kind of come to grips with. The 9 of Wands over here, the 9 of Wands and the Knight of Cups makes me feel like you're moving through it. Like once you discover, you're moving through it. Like the Lovers is, you know, Eve takes a bite of that apple. Oh, let me explain that. The Lovers often depicts Adam and Eve, and it has usually a snake and a tree on it, okay? So to me, that story, because it reflects that story, is about a higher level of consciousness. Eve takes a bite of the apple and her like world turns upside down because she sees things differently than they were before. There's a new realization. In this, it's a new realization about yourself. A realization that you don't have to feel guilty about feeling jealous. It's like, but let's stitch up these wounds. Let's discover why, and let's embrace that. If it is something that you have like, that you need to unpack, does it go back to like something your 5th grade teacher said to you, for an example? Or does it come back to a belief that you have because your ex-boyfriend said something? It's unpacking these things and going, oh, that's what it is. So in massage, I know this is going to seem like a non sequitur, but in massage, like when you have a muscle that hurts and there's like this really knot of muscle, like there's this trigger point therapy where they press on that and they just hold on that spot until it releases. And that's what I'm feeling like. This is, you find your trigger point that's making you feel like this, and then just shine that light on it until you release it, until it's no longer something that haunts you, that upsets you, because you don't want to be like, you don't want that to be something that holds you back. And like, again, it can be almost anything. It could be like you are holding yourself back because of this belief that a 5th grade teacher told you that you were no good at math, for an example. For me, in 3rd grade, the school system told me, like this is something that I've worked through, that I wasn't good at reading. Well, I worked through that and I ended up like, my minor is professional writing from college. But if I would have continued to let that define me and believe that, then I would have never moved on to do what it is that I love to do, and to let these things go. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, group 2. Let's see any more advice for you. Oh, okay, these both came out. Look at this. New moon in Libra. We're in Libra season right now, if you're watching this video as I upload it, and a new romantic cycle begins. Now, this Libra also talks about balance. It talks about bringing in something new. Once we work through letting go of the old, guess what comes in? Brand new things. So if you have just been wondering like, why don't I have a new romantic cycle beginning? It's because you need to let go of some things from the past. And the other thing is too, like in a new romantic cycle, again, trigger points, things might come up, like your this new person that you're interested in, for example, they lost their job. Well, if you had a relationship where your partner chronically lost their job because they were actually didn't want to work and they were really lazy, and then they never, it became like a snowball effect on your relationship. When you let that go and then this partner does the same thing, as an example, you can really kind of compare and contrast how it's different. Like this time around, this new partner lost their job. Well, they might find something better because they're actually looking versus the other one. So this is kind of like the whole thing, not just this new romantic cycle. The whole thing is like letting these negative things go so that when, because the life is about cycles, right? So you're going to experience some of the same things with this new love as you did your old love, but don't punish this new love for things for wounds your old love inflicted. And then your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. So if you do this, if you like, when I'm talking about shadow work, when I'm talking about Carl Jung, when I'm talking about like his philosophies and unpacking, like, you know, there's a reason why we didn't deal with this in the first place. Either we weren't emotionally capable of doing it at that moment. So you're stronger now than you were. Maybe you didn't have like the perspective to look at it. Maybe you couldn't really let go of things and heal your own wounds. Maybe you weren't ready, but now you are, and it's going to be hard work to do that, but it's going to totally pay off. New moon in Capricorn. I love that both of these cards are new moons. It's like a new, fresh beginning. I love this life energy here, because some of these cards down here kind of feel like it's sucking the life force out of you. That's why you have to shine a light on those shadows. That's why you have to dig into that stuff. That's why you have to like let it go. And that's why I love these new moons, because it's a fresh beginning once you do that. And it's really, really like very light and airy and inspiring is the end result here. And that even kind of reflects here in the Knight of Cups, because the Knight of Cups is somebody who then is able to go off and just kind of like ready for new love, ready for new adventures, ready for new and fresh things coming in. You know, lots of flirtation, lots of fun, where these two cards are definitely don't feel flirtatious and fun, but that's because you've got that work to do. You've got that that mental shadow work to put behind it, group 2. So that's what I have for you, and I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, group 3. If you picked the number 3 or our lovely Frankenstein monster, you are in the right spot. Or even just you like the way that the cards looked. I don't have the cards out right now because I'm actually shooting this first, because I am shuffling on camera. So I'm going to pick a card here for you. Oops. Or Spirit's going to pick a card here for you for the overall energy of your next week. We have moon energy, surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. If you're feeling confused, this fairy comes to calm emotions and to reassure you that peace of mind is possible. So that one popped out, but so did this one. Protect your dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams, and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. So this comes along a lot. The protect your dreams, because I feel like sometimes we don't, we're not really ready to release them for other people. Maybe we don't have them. And it kind of goes along with the law of attraction a little bit, because if we say something too soon before we've really built up that momentum of our dreams or of what we want, other people can like influence that. What I mean is, like, for example, say that you really want to do something, stand-up comedian. I'm just pulling that out because I like watching stand-up comedians and I like hearing their stories, and almost none of them, their family wasn't happy with their choice of job. And these are some very famous, very successful stand-up comedians. And some of them, it almost seems like because they're like, oh, I want to be a stand-up comedian, and then their mom, you know, who is rightfully worried about them and loves them, and you know that, you know, your friends and family love you, and if you release your dream and then they're not as receptive to it as you would hope, because you don't really have it fully formed or put out there, they're worried about you, and they try to sway you in different directions, or they think that you need to, maybe you need a college degree to fall back on. Maybe you need this, maybe you need, you know, and I just am kind of like reminded of Joe Coy, because I was watching him on Ridiculousness the other day, and his mom, like, he has, by any terms of the definition of made it, he has made it. And like his mom was like, still telling him that he needs a college degree. And he's like, I can buy a college, Mom. I'm okay, right? So sometimes we release our dreams, and because somebody loves us and we know they love us, they might not be fully in that vision that you are. Let's go back here to this moon energy. The ebb and flow of life, if you're feeling confused. Okay, so I love that the Protect Your Dreams fairy is just, she is relaxing and she is calm a little bit. So, you know, and you may not see necessarily progress on your dreams at the moment. That's okay. Like this moon energy is just calm down. Just, you've got this. I almost feel like too that the moon energy is kind of reminding you to calm down, because if you have released your dreams and people aren't like on board with it, they may have you more worried or more concerned than you normally would be. So it's just kind of like, let that go, calm down, you've got this. Let's see what else we have messages for you, group 3. And you got a bonus card there because I was only pulling, for the other ones I only pulled one card, but those two came out. So 9 of Swords, that makes sense. I'll speak more about it once we get, I want 3 more cards out of here for group 3 for next week. Group 3 energy for next week. 3 more cards. Group 3 next week. No, there's no messages. That one feels like it wants to come out. 5 of Wands. Reversed. 8 of Swords. 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Looks like you're going to get more cards than we bargained for. Queen of Cups and 10 of Cups reversed. Interesting. Okay. So a lot more cards because I feel like this is kind of like our stressed pile here. 9, let's just go through the cards as they came out. 9 of Swords talks about sleepless nights. It talks about something keeping you up at night. This one in particular, eyes are on you, and you may feel like eyes are on you. I almost come back to like the Protect Your Dreams, to be like, why are you so concerned about that? You know, your dreams should be important to you. That's why I love like the Queen of Cups over here, because she's somebody who is very confident in who she is. She's very loving towards everybody else, and she's very nurturing towards everybody else. So I feel like that she would, if she wasn't as confident as she should be, kind of definitely feel everybody's judgment or everybody's eyes on them. And it might be something that keeps her up at night. So if you're finding yourself having a hard time sleeping, you know, 9 of Swords obviously is very connected to the 8 of Swords. Seems like there's a lot of intrusive thoughts here that could be planted by other people. It could be planted by your friends. It could be planted by your coworkers. And that's why we're like, hey, this Protect Your Dreams card is a reminder that whatever your dreams are, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you can absolutely do that. When we have the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Swords here, it's almost like you're your own worst enemy with negative thoughts, or letting other people's negative thoughts especially come and intrude on your peace of mind and your well-being. You can absolutely be a loving and caring person without letting everybody else's opinions hurt you. And I feel like there needs to be some boundaries here between you and other people. There needs to be an ejection of their thoughts and their like kind of goals for you with this Ten of Cups. Understand that when somebody is, because I feel like, especially the Nine of Swords, it's somebody else's voice in your head right now, but they have a different happily ever after in mind than you do. Okay, that's why the Ten of Cups is in reverse. The Ten of Cups is like the happily ever after card. Like everybody, you achieved everything that you ever wanted, and you're hanging out here with your partner, and you've got your little school of fish with you, and there's rainbows and unicorns everywhere, right? But when it's in reverse, that means that's not happening. I feel like for you, it's not happening because you're holding yourself back, but it's because there's a conflict in the happy ever after that somebody else thinks you should have versus what you actually really want. So intrusive thoughts seem to be coming in. Nine of Swords and Eight of Swords, intrusive thoughts. When we have the Five of Wands reversed, this can talk about a motive of why those things are coming in. Jealousy is somebody else. It feels like somebody else is jealous of you because you do have this great big goal. And just because you shouldn't have to worry about somebody else's jealousy. You kind of, I feel like this is a pile of empaths here. I feel like you're very empathic because you're picking up on whatever game other people are playing. I don't think you're playing a game. I think that, and I don't think that you know that they are. Okay? But you're picking up on like, oh no, she has this really great idea and I don't have a great idea. So I'm going to, project my insecurities onto her kind of thing, or him or they. I'm sorry. Don't take my gender here into it. I'm just, because we have the image of the Queen here and we kind of have the Five of Wands as somebody is like rearranging the pieces. The person who should be rearranging the pieces of your life is you. Okay? You are the one who needs to be in control of it. And I don't, you don't see other people as pieces. You don't see other people as obstacles. So when somebody else comes along and they do, and they may not even, they kind of unconsciously do, there's a lot of projection here. A lot of projection of what's right for you and what you should pursue, and you should let go of some things. But we all have our own place, right? The other thing about the Five of Wands is, we all have our own place. We all have our own abilities. We all have our own end goals here. So don't let somebody else's idea of happily ever after influence you. The other thing is, because they are not achieving their happily ever after, it may be that they're poisoning yours because they, again, jealousy. Jealousy is a thing that I'm really feeling here. Really going back to this moon energy, I feel like it's really connected to the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is somebody who's really, really creative. She's somebody who creates this fulfillment. And I feel like your dreams are something that emotionally fulfill you. Don't let that go. Don't let that go over whatever game somebody else is playing over here, okay? And because I almost feel like there have been some obstacles to what you want to accomplish. So then you're kind of giving this person over here, this naysayer, like credit for what they said. But that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to run into obstacles. That makes you better. That helps you to, it makes you think about your situation a little bit in a different way. It makes you strategize a little bit more. I see the Five of Wands, especially this particular card, as a strategy. So, it almost feels like you need to come back to your dream here and figure out how you're going to create it and accomplish it. The Queen of Cups here is, you can absolutely accomplish this. Do not allow these negative vibes that are coming your way affect that. You can do this. You've got it. And even the Ten of Cups being in reversed, I feel like you have to define where you want to go there. So I kind of feel like your dreams need to be rethought just a little bit, because if you're hitting obstacles, you need to figure out how to get around them, and you need to figure out kind of, maybe not necessarily your end goal with it, but have an idea in mind of where you want to go and start proceeding that way. You can absolutely create it. Let's see what else we have here. For group 3, any more cards? For group 2 cards, it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. Aries wouldn't take this crap. Aries is very determined. The goat. Have you ever seen goats? They're awesome. But they will like go headlong into something, and it's time to, and I almost see like the horns here is kind of like an armor, and it's really fitting that it's around your head. It's, you know, put that protection around you. It's dump the naysayers. It's time to take action on your plan. New moon, it's almost like a new beginning. So if you've reached an obstacle, figure out a way around it. How are you going to tackle that? And go for it. And then I want one more card. One more card for our group 3. One last card. One last card of advice for group 3. Okay. Adjustments are required, 3rd quarter moon. So, yeah, it just confirms what I was saying about, you know, you might need to come back and rethink some things, but it doesn't mean that you're out of the game. I think you need to rethink some things because, yeah, there's obstacles that happens. That's not a bad thing. But you need to figure out what you consider your happily ever after and get these other voices out of your head that are not on the same path that you are. We all have our own place. We all have our own things. We're not going to all do everything the same. We're not going to all like graduate at the same time and go to the same college and take the same major and think the same things and vote for the same people and marry at the same time and have the same amount of kids and drive the same car. Like, how boring of a world would that be? You are meant to be the Queen of Cups here. You're meant to feel fulfilled in your job. You're meant to create that. You're meant to thrive. Part of that is it is going to come to you, like the ebb and flow, like this moon energy, but part of it is finding that peace, letting this go, like almost letting all of these 3 cards go. Any conflict, anything that people are saying. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust what you want to create, trust what you want to do. If the plan hasn't been coming out the way that you wanted so far, well, you know, are you even really headed to the right direction? What does happily ever after mean to you? What is your final goal? Make those adjustments and then take the action to do it. So that's what I have for you, group 3. It really does look like a great week. Because I feel like these things are not new, right? This self-doubt, possible conflict with other people, this jealousy, these eyes on you. I feel like that is something that may have been going on for a while. But you need to hear is that, so what? Who cares what these other people are saying or what they would do or what they want to do? You're not them. You are creating your own thing, and it's going to be beautiful. And you're going to find some new strength in that. And if you don't have, because some of these things are like, oh, I don't really have the strength in that, just chill out for a while. Just let clear your mind is the first thing. Let things flow, and you're going to find your way once you figure out what it is that you want to adjust, and you're going to do it. So lovely group 3. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.